The vice chair ruled a challenge to the chair regarding whether an amendment to the agenda
Point
were
of
in
order,
order.
Chair.
I have 2
Point of
minutes.
order.
I have
This is hearsay. We cannot be debating hearsay. We had a successful chair. We had everything going on in the past meeting. I see this as another effort, to just waste our time.
Point of order. This is not a point of order.
Beyond your control, or was that all your intention? I have managed to demolish whatever we made, but you're failing to comprehend. If they can, they will easily butcher you whole while you're blundered by your digression. I have gotten to the point where I'm just too afraid that you're going to meet your end.
You have 3 seconds left in your time. Anyways, Adam, given that you did not follow what I asked you to do, I'm going to take those 3 seconds, which I don't think you'll be able to use to further say anything anyways, and remove you from the
I have been
speakers at that
censored.
time.
That's my last 3 seconds. I have been censored again by this organization. Thank you.
Adam.
I have. Oh, Adam can go.
Yeah.
Yes, please put your hand up to be on the speakers list. Thank you. Adam, go ahead.
No problem. Okay. I just want to move a motion to amend the agenda to add an item after item 4. Everything's really important on this agenda, such that I think it can be addressed after these other issues. But after item 4, just an item concerning officer conduct.
Officer conduct. Would you like to give me a 30-second on what that would mean?
There are a number of issues that have arisen in the last 30 days that merit discussion among the board of directors regarding certain decisions by officers regarding especially the annual general meeting that I think are worthy of the discussion.
After 4, you said?
Yeah, after 4, but before 5. Yeah, before any other business.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Any questions, discussion on that? Sorry, hold on. You're moving that. We need a seconder. Jesse, seconding?
Yep.
Thank you. Discussion? Questions?
Can I also request that be secret ballot? I know the poll is mostly secret, but it's important given the nature of the conversation that this be secret ballot.
That item did not appear to be, you mean for this amendment specifically?
Yes, specifically this amendment.
Yes, Chair. This does read quite similar to a motion that was brought forward to the executive and got dismissed. If this is another attempt at the same motion, Chair, I fear that we are in improper use of our time.
Thank you, Luonga. The way it was currently worded, I'm not sure if it is exactly the same. If it is, and I'm aware of it, then it would be out of order for this meeting. But thank you for that. Any other points? Adam.
What other meeting would be contradictory with discussing officer conduct?
What other meeting would be contradictory? Sorry?
Sorry, what other motion would be contradictory with discussing officer conduct?
I'm sorry, I'm not sure. Sorry, Adam, I'm not sure I understood your question.
Oh, I'm just curious as to what Luonga is mentioning or alluding to.
Thank you very much. I would, Chair, if you'd please, if we could get the member to motivate more about this so as we can get a clearer picture. It does seem information on motion, but please provide more clarity. What type of, conduct are we talking about? Is this an in-camera item or not? If it's not in, I would like to hear more. I believe I'm not alone.
I think that's very fair. Thank you. I saw another hand, but it has disappeared, so I'm just going to go back to Adam to provide that clarification. But Adam, I'm going to ask that you do so within a minute because I do want to get to the rest of the agenda. I'm sure we all do.
Sure, I can propose wording of a motion that I want to potentially levy in that item unless there was some kind of justification for certain decisions that were made in the last 30 days. Can I provide the wording in the chat?
Yes, please do. Would this clarify what you're asking for as well? Let's see.
It would be to add that item, but hopefully the conversation doesn't lead to someone moving that.
Okay, thank you, Adam. That is a lot more specific than what you had originally for that clarification. I am going to say that for this particular meeting, I think that is out of order for this particular meeting, and that can perhaps be addressed in a different space. Further to that, I'm going to suggest that given the content of what that particular item would be, the legal counsel can perhaps provide a response for that at some point as well. For this particular meeting, I would like to go through with the points that are on the agenda already because we are already at 6:10 and have not gotten to any of the agenda items.
I have a point of order on that. So the correct meeting to discuss the conduct of a executive is explicitly the board of directors meeting in our bylaws. That's under 10.3 sanctions, and there's no other location for this conversation to start but the board of directors. It can't start at the assembly. It can't start at an AGM. So I think this is the only place we can really talk about that.
Adam, you had a point of order. I invite you to speak now.
Well, for first address, to what extent our legal counsel's insights had bearing on whether or not we could amend the agenda to discuss officer conduct, but I challenge the chair, but you have not yet provided a clear ruling or justification as to why this is out of order, but regardless, I will challenge challenge the ruling to exclude an item from the agenda after 4 before 5 regarding officer conduct.
So yes, at this point in time, Mr. Adam Hill, to talk to us about his justification or for your reasoning to calling chair. So Adam.
So I can't give adequate reasoning unless I know exactly how Sandhya is ruling this out of order. That's probably why I requested a specific worded ruling in the chat. It was kind of vague as to what her justifications were in this particular case, so if she could provide that, then I could give a better motivation.
So you're challenging the chair without justification, Adam, is that right?
I'm challenging the ruling to prevent ruling this out of
give
order.
Reason.
Yeah, but
the reason is what we're seeking.
So
please provide us with reasoning.
I've provided motivation. I've provided motivation.
Reasoning, Adam. If not, I'll probably be forced to just wipe this off the floor. The explanation should come from the person, the chair says something, Adam. So please give us your justification. If there's none, that's no worries. Probably you'll challenge in the near future. But we would like to continue this meeting.
My apologies. I'm not hostile to this space, folks. I am trying to amend the agenda to include a discussion regarding officer conduct.
Thank you very much, Sarah, for participating in this item. I am going to have to shoot down this motion by Mr. Hill, and I will pass things back to our chair.
Point of order.
Yes, Adam.
What does that mean? There's no shooting down a motion in Robert's
Adam,
Rules
points of order cannot be questions. I'll rule as chair who has just stepped in your motion out of order, and I will be passing things back to our chair, Sandhya. Thank you very much. And folks, please do not be discouraged to continue participating in this meeting. So that motion is out of order, and I will pass the chair seat.
Thank you. It was very close. Thank you for bringing that up, but we have made it. It's still 7:15. Okay, so moving on to 4. I asked for a motion for number 4. Mover and seconder. Luanga and Seconder, please. Thank you, Avinash. Take care. Danielle seconding. All right, discussion on this motion.
Point of order.
I did not see who said that. Who said that?
Sorry, it's Adam.
Hi, Adam. Yes, point of order.
Do we still have quorum?
Do we still have quorum? Sorry, could somebody maybe have a quick look at... I'm not able to look at that right now.
Yes, we do have quorum because the executives are more in number.
Okay, perfect. Thanks.
My
okay,
apologies.
Danielle.
What does that mean? Executives are more number. Like, what's the percentage right now for quorum, if I may ask?
Perhaps we can throw that in the chat and as I go on with the discussion. Danielle?
Point of order, this takes precedent. This takes precedent.
Point of order, the chair has ruled it out of context, so I'm going to continue on with the motion
Please do, Danielle.
Thank you so much. So,
I will challenge the chair. I will challenge the chair on quorum. We are a democracy. We are a democracy.
Here have voiced concerns over HAB committee, so we bring forth this committee, and I would just like to motivate everyone to either, if they have interest, join the committee to be on the CRO hiring, as we very obviously need to have a by-election, and so that we can put that to bed.
Yes.
So I would like to motivate anyone to either be involved and support this motion.
We cannot proceed until my point of order is addressed or my challenge of the chair is addressed.
Thank you. As I had said, we were going to have to respond to your question, Adam, in the chat. It's in the chat now. Thank you, Danielle, for your comment. And I'm going to go forth to any other comments on this item. Further comments on this item. Therefore, I'm going to a vote. So perhaps that was accidental.
Sorry, I do think it's a point of order. I think we need to establish the members in the CRO hiring committee to move the motion, no?
Notifications and so on to be made on that.
Point of order, can I interject and elaborate? The board of directors had to nominate themselves.
See, okay, so we are not actually, we can't vote. It's right. Okay.
So one of the board of directors had to nominate themselves to be part of the CRO.
We're voting
Sorry,
on.
can I move to extend, please, by another 5 minutes?
Yes. So this vote was done. It was voted in, but we didn't actually vote on a person. My bad. And. All right.
Point of order. This is the second time we've gone over a vote.
Point of order.
Extension.
We're in a vote.
But it's 7:20. It's 7:20.
Yeah, we have a minute left, and we are in a vote. So point of order.
Okay. Thank you, Danielle. Adam, please go ahead.
Yeah. Point of order. I just checked the bylaws. I don't know what Sarah is referencing with regards to we remain in quorum so long as we have like the entire executive committee in attendance. I think she might be referencing quorum for the executive committee specifically. Can I reference the section? Like, can I just give you the text from the bylaws regarding quorum?
Why don't you, Adam, why don't, okay, you can stick that in the chat, or you could just tell me the article number.
It's there, and I can't find anything in there that says that as long as because think about the implications of that, right? If the executive committee by itself can make BOD decisions without any other directors present, as so long as they're present, that's a problem.
And you're saying that we don't have 50% of the elected peeps?
Oh, I just want to check quorum. That was all.
Matthew?
We have quorum. Can we move on, please?
Okay, thank you. Any further comments?
I prefer a ruling from the chair, please.
We have quorum. Thank you. Comments, nominations? And to clarify, Adam, I don't see how we don't have quorum. So I'm ruling it court. So I'm just going to follow the agenda here. We're going to move on to 1B, adoption of the agenda. So I'm going to ask for a motion to adopt the agenda as is on the screen. I think hands are still going down here. Maybe I can actually just put all your hands down myself. Yes. Okay. Now I'm going to ask for someone to move and second that motion. Sorry. I see hands up. Thank you very much. Just 1 second. I just want to address a sort of accessibility question here. Yes. Thank you so much. Awesome peeps are helping people out here. Under the reactions tab, you will see a little button to raise your hand. Wonderful, wonderful. Okay, so I have here Tom moving and Haley seconding. Lots of other names, but thank you so much. Wonderful. Any discussion on the agenda? Sorry, before that, I will just put everybody's hands down just in case. Now, any discussion on the agenda? Comments? Anything? Adam, please go ahead.
Good evening, folks. I'd like to make a time-sensitive amendment to the agenda regarding the last Board of Directors meeting, the November Board of Directors meeting that just took place. There are definitely some things that I need to note to this corporation relative to the conduct of certain officers in the last 2 hours. It pretty much just report at this point, because there's no way we can address all of those concerns tonight, but a report basically right at the beginning of reports regarding officer conduct. I'd motion to amend the agenda to include that item. I can motivate further if people want me to.
I'm going to ask you for you to motivate, but that's a motion. I need a seconder. Let's see, Chris and then Jesse. Was either of you wishing to second that?
I can second the motion, sir.
Thanks, Chris. And now we're going to discussion here. So, yeah, could you please motivate, Adam?
So I created like a Coles notes of issues, but I'll try to keep as brief as I can. We have a lot of business to conduct tonight, folks. But
sorry to interrupt, Adam. Just to go on with what I had said previously, 2 minutes per person. So anything within the 2 minutes.
Okay, sure. So
Thanks.
Listen closely, folks. I'll try to express this as clearly as I can. In order. Well, actually, I just created notes. So, quorum was checked, was requested without a communication as to the exact numbers of board of directors present and required for quorum. So there were votes taken after a quorum check where quorum was not confirmed. That happened in the last hour. 3 extensions to the meeting were voted upon outside of the agreed adjournment framework timeframes. The vice chair ruled a challenge to the chair regarding whether an amendment to the agenda.
Point of order, Chair.
I have 2 minutes.
Point of order.
I have
This is hearsay. We cannot be debating hearsay. We had a successful chair. We had everything going on at the past meeting. I see this as another effort, to just waste our time.
Point of order. This is not a point of order.
I'm going to take the comments. Thank you, Adam, for your comments, and Luanga for yours. I will say that this is indeed, I'm going to rule this out of order in terms of what you're saying, Adam. That is out of order. So I'm going to say I apologize, but I will not be entertaining this as an amendment to this agenda.
Point of order?
Yes?
Okay, so I asked for this last time, right? I asked for a specific ruling, the wording of your ruling for the sake of challenging the chair later if necessary. How specifically are you ruling this amendment out of order? Please tell me.
Yes, I'm ruling this out of order because it is a comment on a personal comment on things that occurred in the previous meeting, which is not relevant to the business of this meeting, and assembly is not the right platform to discuss board of directors matters. It goes to the AGM. Is also another point which is in the chat here. Based on the equity statement that we just read, I'm going to say that I don't think that is going to be appropriate.
My apologies.
For all of the reasons I've just stated.
How is this an equity concern?
Directing comments about a specific person to be discussed based on your perception of that person, which can be perceived as harassment. So I'm going to say I apologize, but I'm not going to be able to entertain that at this point. Thank you.
I challenge the chair.
Thank you for your challenge. At this point, as the chair am being challenged, bring aside to allow, I think it's the president who is going to be the challenge. Thank you.
Okay, folks. So there has been a comment in the chat from our equity officer. Our equity officer would like to remind everyone to refrain from harassment or any behaviors or discussion that could be construed as harassment. Everyone has the right to feel safe and supported during this meeting.
Yes.
So there has been a challenge to the chair.
Soon.
Right now, would we be entertaining that challenge or an explanation, and then we can then hear from the chair? Yes, Adam?
Yeah, the chair has provided a specific ruling this time, so I can motivate relative to that specific ruling. Folks, if we can't discuss officer conduct in the board of directors and we cannot discuss officer conduct in the assembly, where can we discuss officer conduct in this corporation?
Answer to your question is in the chat. Assembly is not the right platform to discuss board of directors matters. It goes to the annual general meeting, which is the AGM. Does that satisfy your question? I hope it does. It does answer. I will go to the hands. I see some hands here. And yes, Danielle.
Yeah, I would like to speak against challenging the chair. So just for some context, essentially the last hour and a half of our board of directors meeting has been exactly this, with certain board of directors interjecting for the sake of wasting time. Sonia has conducted herself nothing but eloquently and elegantly against such interjections. Moreover, as previously mentioned, these allegations are hearsay. Of course, we can discuss officer conduct, and we have multiple times in the past. However, the allegations made are just matter of fact incorrect. So I would like to speak against calling to chair. We have some really important agenda items at hand, and hopefully we can address some real student issues with Sonia as our chair.
Thank you very much, Danielle. Do we have any more speakers? Yes, Jesse, and then Chris.
Yeah, I'd just like to speak in support of discussing this because at the last board of meeting, a number of egregious violations of the Canadian Corporations Act, under which were inaugurated, or that's the wrong word, but for example, what Adam mentioned.
Sorry, Jesse. I'm just going to interject here as chair. It would be easier for folks if we don't kind of conflate these issues. It gets very confusing for folks to, folks who haven't been in the previous meeting or folks who have no history of an understanding of this. Sorry, I'll finish my point. It gets hard for folks to understand. So if we can please stick to the issue, that would be very helpful. Thank you.
Sure. I'd like to speak in support then, as the assembly is a body of the organization. I'm phrased as a report, not a decision or a motion. And given that it concerns the board of directors, this is the appropriate place to do it, as there will not be another meeting before the AGM.
Thank you very much. Just before I would just like to repeat something that was put in the chat. I don't feel there's anyone out here tonight who's trying to silence discussion of what should be or what is going to take place. However, the assembly is not, the appropriate platform to discuss the board of directors matters. In fact, it should be the AGM. We have something in the chat. It is not the mandate of the assembly, as the board of directors raised in the last joint assembly and board of director meeting that took place on October 25th, 2022. So just again, this, it's not being dismissed or anything. It's just not appropriate. We have a whole bunch of, I think what folks are trying to say is that we have a whole bunch of other important issues that are more appropriate for this meeting. And yeah, so at this point in time,
can I make a point of order? The chair should not be stating their opinion on this matter while chairing it. That's not the role of the chair.
Jesse. It is not my opinion.
You're explaining your opinion right now.
Yeah, so, given how long this has taken and, a lot of people have frustrations, I'd like to put forth a motion to censure Adam Hill and Chris Rogers for the remainder of the meeting. It's just a complete waste of everyone's time at this point. It has completely taken away from the point of moving an agenda. And although this is unconventional for where we are in the meeting, I'm moving this motion as I feel that this is the common sentiment in the room.
Point of order, exactly. May I ask, what am I being censored for? I'm simply submitting a motion to amend the agenda and commenting as a point of order in regards to the situation in an equity issue where I was accused and threatened with human rights violations for attempting to submit a motion simply in line with our bylaws. So may I ask, as a point of order, what am I being censured for here exactly?
Can I reply?
Yes, Danielle, then we're going to go to Luonga and then Adam, and then hopefully the agenda.
As I'm moving, I think you need a seconder next. Yeah, censorship for essentially bogarting the meeting space and.
Thank you, Danielle. Sorry. Please let me speak, and then I'll go to the point of order. I just want to say that we have a lot of other people in this room, and we should be respecting everybody's time and space. The fact that they are here, please keep that in mind for everyone. Point of
order. Additionally, in terms of respecting time, everyone, I want to do that as well too. And may I ask then that by issuing a motion to censure me, then that the rep there is AFC 3 and 4 is therefore also wasting everyone else's time by submitting a motion to censure me simply for following our bylaws. Thank you.
Thank you, Chris. Luonga?
I would like to second this motion.
Thank you, Luonga. Nilafar.
Point of order. Can we get like a reading from Robert's rules on what a motion to censure means in this case? Are we talking about removing someone from a meeting, limiting their speech? Yeah.
I'm sorry. A question is not a point of order.
It is a point of order because there's a motion to censure, and I don't know what that motion means.
I'll go to the equity officer, in fact, because this is an equity issue.
Yeah, so my understanding of why they're calling to censure you is because you're essentially sea lioning. You claim that you're just asking questions, but the questions seem to never end. It's prioritizing your own individual interests and needs, whereas we have a lot of people here with a lot of things they're very concerned about, and they'd like their voices heard as well, and that's not an equitable use of our time, of everyone's time. And so I that's my wanting to censure you.
And Gadfly, would you say that's in line with the bylaws?
Yes, particularly as we've been giving warnings during both the previous meeting and this meeting for people to be respectful and make sure everyone feels safe and supported. We are able to remove people if they receive multiple warnings. So if someone's being, censured, I assume that's less than being removed. Like, are they just being muted for the meeting? Because then that would seem like a lesser penalty than what they could receive, which would be to just be removed entirely.
Thank you.
If
and yes,
I could clarify, that was my intention, just for the meeting.
Thank you, Danielle. That was what I was going to say. That was my understanding of it, censoring. Okay, so we've now got 2 people on the speakers list, as I had said. Oh, sorry, Nilafar, did you put yourself back on after I said one more time per speaker? Because I saw 3, now I see 4. Okay.
Sorry, that was I forgot to lower my hand. Sorry.
Okay, thank you. So now we've got Adam. Please go ahead. As I said, please take 30 seconds.
Hey, folks. This is not the first time I've been reprimanded or censured for attempting to defend good governance and our bylaws. So if you censure me again for challenging the chair to discuss an item regarding officer conduct after the meeting that I just experienced, after giving you a taste of what happened in that, whatever that was before this meeting, ultimately that's the will of this body, but I'm not going to stop defending our bylaws or constitution, just so you're aware.
Okay, so our agenda was amended to have number 4 now be Board of Director reports. For those who would like to provide such a report, we will follow the same sort of procedures that I put for the other reports, which is under 2-minute report, with up to 10 minutes for discussion. Okay, so that's where we are now. So I'll ask for any board of directors to give their under 2-minute report. And I'll just take this second as I wait for any hands to make a reminder of course, again, please direct all comments towards the chair, which is me. And I expect that everyone will be respectful in their comments to those who are in and not in this room. And also, just based on some of the other things I've been hearing in this meeting, I'm going to ask that nobody refer to others in their comments. I'm seeing that is a bit of that is being taken by some as targeted behavior, and I'm going to ask that we refrain from that in this meeting. Thank you. Okay, oh, I see hands. Okay, cool. Avinash, under 2-minute report, please. Okay, so I have Jesse, please, under 2 minutes.
Hi, yeah, so I'll start by saying that I've been involved in the UTGSU in one way or another for going on 5 years now. Got involved for policy and operations because I'm one of those people who likes looking over policy documents. Before that, I was involved in the association at my undergrad institution and have been involved in other aspects on boards of other organizations. And what I have to say is that this organization's board is one of the most dysfunctional boards that I have been a part of. And it's not a simple issue of one individual. It's not a simple issue of the structure. It's a multifactorial issue involving low turnout. I mean, we had trouble making quorum here. We have 20,000 students and we struggled to get 100 to come to an online meeting. And that's not a new thing that we've had those issues, but it's as bad as it's ever been. So I think what I'll say is that some of the issues that we faced as the board is that we had very few people run for positions. I believe we had 6 execs and 10 board members who are not executives. Of those, I think 5 never attended a meeting. And so we've struggled to make quorum, to legally make decisions. And so it's not an issue that has an easy solution. But what I'll say is that if you want a student union and you want a student union to do things for you and to help you, then we need to work on having people attend. If not, the other option is just to not have a student union, right? Or to reduce its size and scope. Those are the 2 options when we're struggling to meet the mandate that we have set out for us. So I think that's under 2 minutes and I'll end there.
Thank you, Jesse. Okay, and thank you for expressing your thoughts and opinions on that. Sorry, I'm just looking at the speakers list. I'm asking currently for board of directors to give reports, and then we'll have discussion. So, Adam, under 2 minutes, please.
Thank you, Zendaya. I just want to focus the scope on the last board of directors meeting. There were parts that not all of the directors could attend. This is the November 2022 board of directors meeting. There were some serious issues, and ultimately I tried to raise, it started with my attempts to try to raise issues of officer conduct at the beginning of that meeting. Ultimately, my motion to amend the agenda to discuss officer conduct was amended off of the agenda, ruled out of, so first I challenged the chair and then it was ruled out of order by the person who stepped into chair, right? So that led into, let's say, some tension in that space, and ultimately, near the end of that meeting...
Point of order, Chair.
Yes, thank you.
At this point, I don't think we should be, debating subjectivity.
I think that is a good point, well taken. Adam,
how is that a point of order? What's the breach in order?
Point of order, Chair. Like we're debating one person's analysis. I don't think that this. I don't think that this. We sat in the meeting. We had chairs. Let's move on.
Thank you for the point of order.
Can I finish my report? I have 2 minutes.
Yes, Adam, I'm sorry. I'm pausing the time on your 2 minutes. I'm just going to say, do not use your time to express personal opinions on things that are not relevant to this particular body, in that they will not be able to see minutes or anything about that, so we won't be able to have people see those things. If you have anything that you'd like to report in terms of your role as a board of director, you may continue to do so in the rest of this time allotted in your 2 minutes.
Right. Okay. Is the timer going again? Can I speak?
Yes, it is. Yes,
okay,
please.
Thank you. So in the latter part of that meeting, so we went till after 7 o'clock, right? And I'm the only one who was present probably to speak on this. I doubt the other people in the room are willing to speak on this. Furthermore, we didn't have the press present because we couldn't seat additional guests. There was no opportunity to seat guests beyond the guests seated by the executive. Ultimately,
I'm sorry, Adam. I think you're continuing to... I've stopped your time again, but I think you're continuing on the same as I've just asked you not to, because giving an account of the meeting. I'm sorry, Adam. Please do not interrupt when I'm speaking. I do not interrupt you, other than as in my role as chair.
Both the president and the chair have interrupted me.
Orders will be taken as an interruption, as part of the procedure here.
How is the longest issue
Adam,
a point of order?
As I mentioned, I have paused the time so that you will have the full 2 minutes. Yes, so there was indeed guests, but I don't think this is the space to debate that. We don't have the minutes or anything for people to see. I don't think that is relevant to the rest of this body at this time because I can't see those things.
My apologies.
Nope, sorry, Adam, I'm not done. So I'm going to ask you not to continue in that vein. This is a warning. Please continue to use your time to use it as a report as a board of directors, and not what we have just discussed. Thank you. You may continue now.
I can't report on the board of directors meeting my own lived experience in that space to the general membership. Is that what you're trying to tell me right now?
People cannot see to verify through the minutes.
Okay, so we'll just clarify one thing. You're suggesting, Danielle is suggesting in the chat, which by the way is a misuse of chat, that the media were present. I spoke with the media, they were not present. I think I think the varsity actually is here. Which media are you referencing specifically?
Direct questions. Yes, point of order.
Again, like we've deviated from the members' initial point. Again, we can't have these points to just spill whatever we feel like. What are we talking about right now? We have time. We have members here. We need to respect people's time. Let's carry on with the meeting. We cannot be debating subject and propaganda.
Thank you very much for the point. I was just going to say here.
My apologies. So point of personal privilege. Point of personal privilege.
Okay.
Did the president just accuse the board of director of lying to the general membership?
No deviation, please, and lower your voice. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'm going to take that as the last warning for our member, Adam Hill. So what I was attempting to say is that I would ask again that nobody direct any comments towards any other member here. You have 3 seconds left in your time anyways, Adam. Given that you did not follow what I asked you to do, I'm going to take those 3 seconds, which I don't think you'll be able to use to further say anything anyways, and remove you from
I have been censored. That's my last 3 seconds. I have been censored again by this organization. Thank you.
This is my